to fit in your box of pink Barbie dolls. Found I still couldn't win them all.
Hello there, I am Fearnot, and welcome back to my channel. As you could see from the miniature and the title of this video, today I'm going to talk about Dream Academy. If you're one of the OGs, you know this video has been anticipated for a while, as it won my community poll, so if you want to contribute to my video ideas next time, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss it. With the shameless promo out of the way, I want to clarify that I don't have any issues with the girls themselves, just hype and especially Mitra, who made the girls' time hella difficult. But now, let's actually get to the controversial survival show that formed the rising star group Katseye. The debut Dream Academy got known to the public as a talent competition reality show, which definitely had more of the show than reality aspect, but there was also little to no content, so mostly it was a competition created by collaboration between Hype Corporation and Geffen Records with an objective to create a global girl group.
I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending.
This project included 20 young and talented female contestants from different backgrounds competing in 3 different missions. Each mission was followed by fan voting and eliminations according to it, or more so with that in mind as the show demonstrated. The 10 finalists who survived all 3 eliminations faced off in a live finale to create the final 6-member group now known as Katseye. Sounds good, right? Well, it doesn't seem that bad on paper, but damn, the execution left me very regretful. If you're familiar with the traditional K-pop survival shows, you know that there is often a large number of contestants who you get to watch compete in similar missions, proving their skills, overcome struggles, and build relationships and stuff like that, depending on the screen time they get, as they're evaluated by judges or producers and then get eliminated or advanced based on fan voting. To create the final lineup, who gets to debut as usually a temporary group. Well, you don't get to see that here, and by that I mean the relationships, struggles, and true skills of these girls. However, if you are worried they got rid of favoritism, nah, that's all still present. From what I've told you, there are definitely few major issues. The main one is clearly that you don't get the full survival show experience. Not that Hype is any good at those either, but they really tried to make Dream Academy a big deal only for it to be 2 teasers, 4 or later 3 actual performances for each round, short clips of the girls before the missions, and then the actual elimination announcements. If you were here for more showcase of personalities and relationships, as was I, you got literally nothing, except drama. But I got a bit ahead of myself, so first let's run through the missions themselves to get a better understanding of what I'm actually talking about. If you are familiar with the show and don't care about my takes on the performances, feel free to skip to the next segment while I'll be diving into the show's particular issues more, and as always you can find the timestamps in the description. On August 25th, 2023, K-pop TikTok was taken over by a storm of people being hyped and excited for a new survival show with diverse cast under the name of Dream Academy. My TikTok especially was in an immense shock to see a Slovakian flag there, and damn, so was I. From there, we got 2 other trailers in the following days, one more cinematic and the other more informatory, and the first mission was released in the form of 4 performances on September 6, 2023. Where half of the contestants did K-pop dance covers and the other half pop vocal covers. With the dance covers, we were introduced to Team A with Blackpink's Pink Venom and Team B with NewJeans' OMG. Both were great, but the Pink Venom team unfortunately fell victim to the teams being formed by the production, cause Hinari didn't stand out as much, while Adéla didn't exactly fit together with the rest of the team. Megan killed it though. While I enjoyed both performances quite a lot, OMG was definitely the more balanced one, with everyone having their time to shine. However, Marky was clearly the star here. But if I'm being honest, I don't care about dancing as much as vocals, so both vocal teams ultimately became way more interesting to me. Team A performed Dancing on My Own by Callum Scott, meshed up with Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, while Team B got Paramore's Still Into You. I liked the individual performances of every single one of the girls in Team A, however, they didn't feel like a group to me, which ended up affecting my impression about the whole thing. Team B, on the other hand, did such a great job in that department that I still casually watch the performance from time to time. The harmonies were very well done, and they utilized all their strengths without it being overbearing. I don't think it's a coincidence all of these girls got very far in the show. After that, the girls really started to build and push their social media because they were advised to get votes, which I find kinda weird. If you have someone with a big following just casually being able to utilize that to the fullest, disadvantaging the ones who just aren't very present on the socials rather than the creators actually promoting the show, it doesn't really sit right with me. However, it would be fine if the votes didn't really matter as much. But they did, because even after just these surface level performance videos on September 15, two girls were already being sent home. Those two being Adéla and Hinari, who I both mentioned before, while the other 18 girls went to Korea to train further. I'll talk about the actual eliminations later, and I'll be able to fully dive into the issues, so stay tuned for that. Back to the missions. The show continued with Mission 2 announcement 10 days later, and we definitely got some of the most interesting parts of the whole show, because my girls, the Seraphim, were there for it, as 4 new formed teams were given new English versions of the Seraphim's big hits. This time, all of the contestants were singing and dancing simultaneously, so instead of different skills, two teams were facing off against each other with the same song being Fearless and Anti-Fragile. And this time, it was a very big deal because the whole team who got more votes was safe from the entire eliminations. Anti-Fragile Team A was definitely up for the win in votes, because they all got the fan favorite contestants, but based on the performance videos alone, they also did a better job working as a very cohesive unit, while Team B didn't hold up as much in that regard. I think their vocal intonations clashed in a way, especially Iliya's and Kali's, who sounded a lot out of breath in certain parts as well. But I'm not an expert, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. However, both teams did generally well. My personal favorite from those teams would be Megan. About the fearless teams, in both cases some contestants were killing it, especially Daniela and also Manon, May or Lexi, while others not as much, particularly Ua and Brooklyn. And honestly, it might have been the bar distribution at fault. We never got to see how those worked on the show, so that's something to keep in mind. However, since this was a team mission, Team B's performance definitely felt more grand and hyped, while Team A was a bit too low-key, even for Fearless. Well, unsurprisingly, the more cohesive and energetic teams won in both cases, and that led to a crucial elimination, after which the show was never quite the same. As during the elimination announcements, we also got to know that the girls were asked questions who would they want to end up in a group with and who they think will be eliminated. They were deliberately told it's not gonna be shared anywhere, but that's exactly what happened. So the community and friendships the girls built took a big hit, and even more so combined with the 4 girls being sent home as well, particularly Brooklyn, Carly, Iliya, and May. Basically, the only 2 girls who weren't crying in any way were May, who was maybe even happy at that point, as she's now thriving in Say My Name, and Lexi, who we later found out was so broken by the events she decided to leave the show afterwards. Unfortunately, the third mission was, as I later found out, the most interesting. At this point, they finally started leaning more globally, and we got 3 amazing covers by real pop icons in Spice Girls' Wannabe, Pussycat Dolls' Buttons, and Demi Lovato's Confident. That was definitely what I was waiting for the whole time. I don't know if that's where they stepped up the post-production on the mission videos, or everyone was just that good, but all three of the performances are truly stellar, and overall exactly what the show was promising all this time. It's just sad that by the time people got already tired of the format, or at least I really did, so I didn't get to see that. Anyways, the whole wannabe team was formed of contestants who didn't get to fully shine before, and they definitely did this time. Especially Samara really thrived in the pop element, and Ezreala has shown her charms incredibly well compared to the past performances. The confident team show all the contestants in a different environment than usual, and they all slayed. Megan and Lara prove their vocals are no joke, while Marky and Yunche made an incredible impression on me with their dancing and stage presence. Damn, I need Marky to debut ASAP. She's my girl for real. However, the Buttons team has built the biggest reputation for themselves. From the choreo going viral to the more interesting formations having 5 members, but also other details like the chairs incorporated in the choreo, and even when it came down to the performing itself. These 5 girls were all radiating a certain star quality, which made them feel like a real formed group already, which all definitely contributed to it being the most known performance from the show. Despite that, Nayoung and Celeste, who took part in it, were eliminated, as well as Ua, with only 10 contestants remaining for the live finale. As suggested by the title, the live finale was actually at least partly live, which is honestly surprising, but good for the girls that the production crew actually believed in them. As it tends to be for the finale, they got original songs, distributed into groups of 5. Daniela, Emily, Marky, Megan, and Yunche performed Girls Don't Like, which is my personal favorite song of the night. But about the performance, although it's close, I think Manon, Sophia, Estrella, Samara, and Lara did a bit better with Dirty Water. Then all of the 10 finalists also perform all the same, because all survival shows need an original emotional ballad, of course, and at the end of the night, Manon, Hyunche, Daniela, Lara, Sophia, and Megan became a girl group now known as Katseye. So, I want to reiterate it one more time. The main problem with the show is the structure or the lack thereof. I feel like it's the same with every kind of media. Because if a consumer is given significantly less content than they're used to, it can get underwhelming. And that goes for 2-minute songs, 18-minute show episodes, or the absolute lack of some kind of overarching plot or storylines in a survival show. So when I'm fed 2-hour episodes of survival shows from Mnet, which make me get to know the groups or artists a little bit better, I'm not gonna be satisfied when given just crumbs here and there by Dream Academy. And the worst part about this is that the show had so much potential, seeing how popular the later released Netflix docuseries Popstar Academy Katseye has become. It could have been all that, but no, they didn't even try. And that underwhelming feeling only worsened with more and more other issues connected with the show. The one which made it to the title of this video is the clear emphasis on nationalities, which, whether you like it or not, has been very crucial in the show's promotion and therefore has played a huge part in the voting and by that also in the final lineup. Don't get me wrong, I do think it's amazing the show actually tries to represent cultural diversity, and I'm all for that. I think it was taken too far, because all of these girls were just put in boxes they simply couldn't get out of. I won't try to imply that the whole thing was generally affected by reverse racism, but in some cases clearly could have. I don't think that the way Emily was criticized for simply existing, talking, and expressing herself is anything else, but I don't want to make false claims out of thin air, so I'll just say the correlation in votes or lack thereof for the white passing girls or those coming from generally white dominant nationalities is very apparent. Now, it does kind of sound like I'm not really down with the show's representation, and in fact, I am not, because the show itself didn't really try to represent the girls as much as straight up profit from being global. And so the girls themselves had to do the heavy lifting on their social media. And while you could argue that that's the extension of the show, I'd definitely disagree, because it wasn't the show I was enjoying during that time. It was Lara's fashion videos, or all of the girls just going shopping together and having fun or something. But once again, the show gave us none of that. So we were stuck with the one-dimensional caricatures of the girls, primarily based on their nationalities alone, and while it might be in some ways a step in the right direction, I don't think promoting Sofia as that Filipino girl or Lara as that Indian girl is doing them that much good when they could also highlight how amazing of vocalists and performers they both are way more alongside that. Now that I've spent some time watching Katseye on social media, I feel like it's such a shame it wasn't as prominent how much of a sweetheart Sophia is, or how deep Lara's passion for music actually goes. However, if you had other thoughts regarding this matter, please share it in the comments, because I could have got it all wrong and am just overthinking, like I tend to do, but I feel like this is an interesting conversation to have. Now, I feel like I'm gonna be quite controversial, but that's just how I feel, so I'm gonna present it as such. As I feel another side of the same coin is the way they treated Adéla on the Dream Academy, because that's actually insane. As the earlier mentioned docuseries showed, she was in the hype and Geffen training and development program from the beginning, and all she ever got in their evaluations was mostly praise. But imagine the training and development program suddenly changing into a survival show, and it's also a nationality based one. Being Slovakian, Adela had a huge uphill battle to fight. But she did, and she didn't do badly. I guess she just didn't do exceptionally enough to counter the disadvantage put onto her. And also, while I'm being petty, it didn't make much sense to put her in a dance unit when she was mainly a vocalist going into it. And that's something the show didn't showcase at all. I mean, she's a ballet dancer, but I won't pretend that that's not any different from the types of dancing required on the show. Then the first elimination happened, and we're going in with the information that two of the girls are gonna be sent home without any chance to show all they got in an actual live performance. But it being Adéla is just so messed up. If the show was only based on votes, then we wouldn't even be talking about this. But no, only the few highest voted contestants advanced based on votes, while the actual eliminations were purely in the hands of the show's team. And they thought that Adéla just didn't deserve any better. Obviously, I'm being a bit overdramatic here, because the reasoning why they eliminated her ended up being that they thought she's way better off as a solo artist, which, like, fair. That's definitely why she's thriving now, but wouldn't they know any sooner? That seems quite fishy to me, but enough of that. I think I proved my point, and I definitely annoyed anyone else who really didn't want to listen to this, so for those who are still here, it's not that I would need Adéla in the final lineup. I'm perfectly satisfied with how Katseye is. I just feel like she had a lot more to show in the program. And I won't pretend like I wasn't disappointed, cause I went into the show excited that someone from a close Slavic country can actually make it in this field, just for the hope and excitement to be crushed immediately. But since all of the girls were super talented, the eliminated girls are also already going places even without huge companies backing them. So good for them. But I got a bit of track here, cause I won't lie, this gets me quite emotional. But I also want to get to the other issues, and we'll continue right where we left off with eliminations, because they were so unnecessarily messy. I'm not gonna talk about how rigged it could have been, because we've all seen that many times already, but the announcements, that show was traumatizing. You know how there's always an MC that announces the eliminations in different survival shows and tries to lighten up the mood a bit and stuff like that? In Dream Academy, there was no such person. Instead, all of these girls were just waiting for their dreams and hard work to be thrown out of the window by a faceless AI voice on the screen. Like, I despise the concept of Island 2, but even Natsuri would be a better fit for this. And there were still real MCs announcing the elimination on that show. So, Dream Academy was just even more painful to watch in that regard. I was also very disappointed when Kali got eliminated, but I don't think it would be worth it to talk about that anymore because it's very similar to Adéla's case. However, if we're talking about eliminations, I definitely need to mention Nayeon. This time, I must admit she wasn't my absolute favorite, but if I cared enough while watching the original show, I think she would be in my top 6 because she's definitely a great main vocalist material, which was only confirmed by her placing first in the vocal survival show Girls on Fire. I didn't actually watch the show, but I've seen some clips on TikTok and it was just amazing vocals through and through. So I wish her the best with her new group, but I'm not really sure how she's doing because it's been 6 months and we don't even have the group name nor any confirmation of their preparation for debut or anything. So I hope there's nothing shady happening behind closed doors. However, the reason I want to talk about her is because she was literally one of the most popular contestants on the show, and she didn't even make the finale. It actually makes a lot of sense that when Adele didn't get the votes she needed, they would think about eliminating her, but this was the exact opposite case. As I've already said, the fan voting didn't matter all that much because only the few most voted contestants did get to advance based on votes. You know how many contestants advance based on votes to the finale? Two. Unsurprisingly, Lara and Sophia, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it feels so weird to literally eliminate the third most popular contestant. And if you think, oh, then maybe she didn't have enough stage presence or like her dance skills were lacking because maybe she was more a vocalist. But her stages were great as well, especially the buttons one. And that's exactly when she got eliminated. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think any other girls who got to the finale deserved it any less, but this just straight up feels like rigging. Maybe they thought she would be better off as a soloist, or she didn't seem as palatable to the West market, but she was the third most popular contestant on the show. What more confirmation would they need? This is the exact reason why I enjoyed A2K far more. Because, of course, maybe some of my favorite contestants were also eliminated, but I went into it knowing it's an internal survival show, so it's not based on fan voting at all. While Dream Academy marketed fan voting as a huge part of the show, which just didn't prove to be the case. Overall, my biggest issues would be the incoherent and chaotic structure of the show, or particularly the lack of structure. The weird decisions which made some contestants quite disadvantaged, being the show being marketed as some kind of Olympics. And even then, the most marketing has to be done by the girls through their social media because they were trying to get votes to survive on the show, and in the end, it didn't matter that much, anyways. I think that if they planned to make a documentary about a training and development program and such, they didn't have to make the survival show public and just do it internally because the actual Dream Academy wasn't even enjoyable to watch compared to the Popstar Academy documentary. And by that, I don't mean that the stages became automatically bad because how toxic the show was, but beside the stages, I don't really see any reason to ever come back to the show, and I didn't really feel like that about any other survival show that I watched, so maybe that's an indicator of how badly executed the whole thing was. And though I am a hater of the show, I'm definitely not in any sense of any of the girls who appeared on the programs. I know that I repeat the same thing over and over again, but I guess it needs to be said because I've made a few TikToks about Katseye and Adéla, and under both of those, who went kinda viral, people would make assumptions left and right that I must hate Manon because I like Adéla, or that I only like Sophia in Katseye. Like, what the hell? Because I'm kinda done of people making those assumptions and just not understand any context. Let's talk about the artists we got from the Dream Academy. First off, I adore Katseye. My TikTok For You page is always full of clips from their streams or their own very funny and also surprisingly original TikToks. Like, yeah, they do follow trends sometimes, but they do it so cleverly, I can't help but love it. If you are keeping up with them, I'm sure you've seen Lara and Manon doing the symphony trend, which is very iconic, but I can't stop thinking about that one video of Sophia talking about how icons can signal to them that they would like to engage with Katseye, but they have social anxiety. It was so wholesome, it actually made me cry. She's an angel for real. Lara's streams seem so cozy, while Danon, being Daniela and Manon, definitely win the first place for being the most random and hilarious on their streams. And finally, Megan and Yunche are also so casually funny. Megan really is the unofficial live action Candice, and I can't help but replay the videos of Yunche being an English queen. Like when she said that she relates to their song My Way because Lara's house is loud and Megan's car is M3. Golden. Moving on to their songs, I wasn't, and honestly, I'm still not impressed by debut. It's not a bad song, but it doesn't feel like them, and for that to be the first song they released after 8 months of radio silence is kinda anticlimactic. However, it's fine and fairly catchy, but way too short. Touch is the catchiest song of this year, and it's not even close. It makes all the sense that this was their breakout hit, because the song is, although pretty simple, very pretty, real, and empowering with the lyrics. Not as much as the other songs on the album, but we'll get there. Say Something I Ain't Heard Before is also such a great misheard lyric, and is the exact reason why I prefer the original to Yeonjun's feature, which is also pretty good by the way. My biggest pet peeve with this song is that they are too short for their own good, so the girls can't really show their all in the 2 minutes of runtime. But the other songs on the mini album are closer to 2.5 minute mark, so that's definitely a step in the right direction. My Way is definitely my favorite on Soft is Strong, because of their beautiful vocals and messages in the lyrics, such as the one in the intro. A more fleshed out bridge would have been better, but the song's already amazing how it is. I'm Pretty is unsurprisingly pretty, but also very inspiring and so pleasant to listen to with all the adlibs and harmonies. Love it. The Night I might be their best song because their vocals really shine and the instrumental only highlights that. It's so ethereal and magical. I wasn't at all surprised to see it on many Spotify raps this year. The outro is especially beautiful and it's a great way to close the mini album. If you think I've only become a fan of Adéla since Homewrecked and Superscar, that would be an understatement, because I was obsessed with Dream Bitch when I heard it for the first time almost a year prior to that. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you watched the Popstar Academy, it was actually in one of the later episodes of the show. It's a beautiful acoustic tune about insecurities and overcoming them. And even though it's not on any streaming services as far as I'm aware, which is a real shame, so Adéla, if you're somehow watching this, I would love the song to get a full version, or at least to be put on any kind of streaming so I could play it more regularly, because it really helped me overcome my struggles times and times again, so I would like it to get the attention it deserves. Moving on to Homewrecked, I'm so excited that solo debut like this could even happen. because at least prior to Popstar Academy, I don't think my girl was getting enough recognition for what she does and how amazing of a vocalist she is. And this diva knocked it out of the park first try, because I didn't expect her first single to be one of the most memorable releases of September at least, and also of October, because we got Superstar right after that. First, I think the strongest aspect of Homewrecked, besides the amazing vocals, of course, especially in the bridge and outro, like those are some stellar vocals, I'm still not over that, but the whole song is built on the amazing production, which is more stylized and a bit over exaggerated in a good way though, compared to Superstar, and therefore it made her stand out as an eccentric, unapologetic pop star type of artist, and a great vocalist and performer alongside that. And this sound was only expanded by Superstar, which coincidentally has also a similar theme to my favorite pop song released this year, being Jade's Angel of My Dreams, and that is how women, especially young women, are treated in the music industry and the constant sexualization. And I think that because of the lyrics being more deep and about an actual experience, it makes the song all the more impactful, and I also really like the production here. By coincidence, I just found out it was actually produced by Grant Kenoki, and that is like the best thing ever, and it makes so much sense now. If you don't know who that is, I'm probably not the best person to tell you, but I know him from American Song Contest, and he just makes great queer music, so I love him. And aside from the great vocals and production, Superstar also has an amazing music video. Like, I don't think I fully understand how hard it must have been to put this all together as an independent artist, but it's beautiful and so cool. I'm very impressed. Another of my favorite debuting contestant is May, who is one of the 7 members of Say My Name, but as of now I don't really have enough of an impression of her, so I don't have much to say right now. I just wish her the best, but I think she'll be fine as IZ*ONE's re-debuts tend to do very well. And that means that we have only one more debuting contestants to talk about.
I just wanna be an influencer, sipping heroin and Mercedes Benz. My, what a life. I would die to be like you.
Honestly, I have mixed feelings about Iliya's music. On one hand, I think she has so much potential and I really like her voice, but on the other hand, I don't think the potential is truly being capitalized on. And that's okay. I'm all for giving her the benefit of the doubt because she's just starting out and she'll probably need some time to really establish who she is as an artist and how she'd want to express that. Better definitely wasn't my style at all, and I think it also didn't highlight any of her strengths that well. However, Influencer does seem like the step in the right direction. It shows a lot more of her personality, and it's quite catchy and fun. And while concept as this wouldn't maybe be the best fit for other artists, in her case it does make a lot of sense. She's been criticized for being more of an influencer than an artist or singer, but we all know she's much more than that. Or at least definitely could be. So I'll keep my eye on her. And I wanna end the video with this hopeful mindset. So first of all, thank you for watching this more than half an hour long video. I'd love to hear your feedback or thoughts about this topic in the comments. I hope you enjoyed it, even after 3 months since this video has been announced. And above all, I hope that you found it interesting, because I tried my best honestly, but I'm not sure I'm the best channel to do this type of content. However, you can look forward to next time where I'll be talking about lots of my favorite songs. So if you want to be notified about that, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss it. But that is truly all, so until next time, bye!
끝없는 여정이 새롭게 난